All right. Hey, folks. Welcome to Torches How You Make Friends. With us today is Hey Camel.
Hello, hello.
Terry Diamantis.
Hey, everyone.
And our victim for the day is Inquisitor.
You guys are no longer my friends.
We get that a lot.
We're on a lot of block lists right now.
It seems the torture is having the opposite effect promised in the title.
It started off well, but it's not maintaining.
I kid, but the person who we're going to talk about definitely not, for part of it at least.
I do think that she had some good jokes. Like, there were actual funny parts in the special. It's
There
just and like, normally when we watch these, there's no funny parts. So having some is a step up. But once she got into the whole feminist ranty half of the special, I was like, oh, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, the last part of the special is where it all just immediately fell apart.
Just so we're clear,
yeah,
we're talking about Michelle Wolf's stand-up joke show.
For those of you unfamiliar with Michelle Wolf, she was the last comedian to host the White House Correspondents' Dinner during the Trump administration. That was a big blow-up in the last 4 years that made her famous. Before that, she was a Daily Show correspondent. She's done 2 stand-up specials on Netflix, if I'm not mistaken. One is this one we watched called Joke Show, and there was another one. I forget the title.
It was a series.
Oh, no, she had a series as well, but I think she's done 2 stand-up specials. So.
And for the time
2017's
well,
Nice Lady. That was her other special. But
for the time frame as well, this took place after the Correspondents' Dinner.
That is correct.
Yes,
she actually has a bit about being on the Correspondents' Dinner. So.
But I will give her credit for some self-awareness. Like, she knows her voice is shrill. She knows that she's extremely vulgar.
Yes, there was some self-deprecating humor in that, which, actually added to instead of detracted from.
Yeah. Even self-deprecating in terms of ideology, too. She has some criticism for feminism, but like, she's just on the cusp of realizing that her entire life is a lie. That's the part that makes it so much more infuriating.
Well, the thing is, if anyone on the far left saw that special, they just go, well, she's a TERF. She's saying that men are stronger than women. You can't say that. If they found out about this special, that should be cancelled.
Yeah. And getting back to the bits about there being some funny stuff, the very beginning starts off with her admitting that canceling things is wrong and people should stop doing it, and has some heavy criticism for social media, blogs, manifestos, and Twitter, all of which are completely valid.
Yeah. The start was actually a lot better than I was expecting from what I knew her positions to be. Because I only knew her from her abortion rant, and that's in this special as well.
It is.
And knowing that, I was thinking, okay, I'm going to hate every second of this. But there were some, especially in the first half, some moments where, okay, she's actually somewhat reasonable on this issue.
Or at least taking the stance of being funny for it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, she may not hold that actual position, but she knows that getting into a political manifesto will not work on her jokey joke show.
Except for the second half, when that's all she does.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The main takeaway is do not let Polly anywhere near a baby seal.
Yes. Because apparently otters rape seals, baby seals.
They do, apparently.
So, Johnny, Terry, you guys have been here for Johnny's the host, so he's been here for all of this. Terry, you've been here for the most. Where do you think this rates of all the ones we've watched so far?
I'd say it almost splits down the middle. The first half was actually quite high relative to the other specials we've seen. Once she got into feminist rant mode, it's Nanette tier.
I'll say this: the part where you can definitely tell that you're on the downward swing is when she just keeps talking about her vagina. Can we make this not a thing? Can we not emulate Amy Schumer, please? There are plenty of women comedians that are plenty funny.
But like
when they don't emulate Amy Schumer.
But even besides that, she did an entire segment on men are idiots, and like have no redeeming features. Like, if you expect a man to do better, then you shouldn't, because they're too stupid to do any better. It's like, that wasn't funny. That was just her making a political point. It's like, she forgot it was a comedy special halfway through.
Johnny?
The beginning kind of it was a little bit better than most. But yeah, I'd say about after that third of the way down, it was just garbage.
About a third? Okay. I mean, compared to some of the other specials we watched, I mean, like, I would say that this was better because the beginning was funny. There was funny parts to it. So that automatically puts it, in like probably I'd say top 5.
Well, the thing is, I honestly think the beginning and the end should almost be treated as different shows, because that is how big of a difference there is between the two. Like, the first was actually funny, and then she decided to go into a feminist rant.
If it was a half-hour special, I would say it would be better.
Yeah, if it was just the first half, then I'd say it's one of the best. But she then talked about feminist bullshit for half an hour.
So, are we ready for The Price is Right?
Let's go.
All right. So, quiz, you're the special guest today, so I'll let you go first. 1 second when I get the dogs to shut up. It's literally just me yelling, "Hey, shut up!" Except, not blowing out anybody's eardrums on headsets.
It's considerate of you.
Yeah. So, first we're gonna do the tomato meter. Quiz, you're the special guest, so you get to choose. You get to make your selection first. Scale of 1 to 100. What do you think the critics gave this that we just watched?
80%.
Okay. Terry?
I'm going to go 90.
Johnny?
We've already discussed this, so you gave me the answer.
Oh. Rigged.
I forgot about that. So. Well, Terry would be closer because they gave this, out of 8 reviews, the tomato meter critics review is 100%.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay.
I would have figured
I knew Eddie was too low.
I would have figured that the rape would have thrown it off, because she spends about 20 minutes.
The auto rape
on a rape on a rape joke. Yeah, she spent about 20 minutes in the beginning on a rape joke.
But no, I knew 80 was too low, so I didn't want to. But I also didn't want to overshoot it too much, so that's why I went 90.
All right, so going on to the audience score quiz.
I would say probably. I'll say 80 again.
80.
Yeah.
Terry, what do you think?
I'm gonna go a lot lower if it's the audience. I'll just split it down the middle. I'll go 50.
Well, the audience score with over 50 ratings, Terry wins it. It was 59%.
Nice.
And we can move right on into some of those reviews right now.
I was going to say, well, that gives me a little bit more hope for humanity.
My favorite one, the very first, the top audience review, half star. Who could possibly enjoy this garbage? Somehow Carrot Top and Wallace Shawn had a baby. Seriously hard to watch.
That's better than anything in the special. I love it.
And then we have this one here, 4.5 stars. Hilarious. Ignore the haters who are no doubt still mad about the roast. I mean, the correspondence dinner, I forgot about that until I was like, oh yeah, that did happen. This is afterwards. Okay.
Well, because she had to bring it up. It's her claim to fame at this point.
Yeah, true.
Well, I mean, people talked about that longer than they talked about her Netflix show, which was The Break, in case you guys were wondering.
Ah.
Let's see. Half star. I'd rather ladle steaming diarrhea into my ear than listen to this non-funny talking head.
Well,
I
this
think
review is not very helpful. The angry video game nerd called and won his joke back.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking the same.
I was just gonna say, I was like, this guy must have heard her talk about being gross, and like, oh, yeah, I can do that too.
No, the first thing I thought was, okay, this is an AVGN reference.
I don't pay attention to that. That's.
I never liked the angry video game nerd, but I've heard his theme song.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, Jim Duff is a fairly. He's a fairly.
I never liked.
Funnier than her.
Yeah. So is diarrhea.
1 star review. Michelle Wolf isn't funny in the least. I don't see how anyone can enjoy this. Again, her voice is annoying. She does she does admit that she's shrill. So I mean, 1 star. I would give it 2. 2.5.
Out of what?
Like we all said, out of 5. Yeah, that's what the Rotten Tomatoes are rating out of.
Okay.
So I mean, it had funny parts. She went over a lot of old material that people have covered again and again, but she did come at it from different angles, at least.
In terms of, if I had to rate the overall special, I would give it a 2 as well. If I had to rate the very beginning, like the first 30 minutes, I'd probably give it a 3.
Yeah.
If I had to rate the last 30 minutes, I would give it. Is a 0 an option?
Well, I mean, it's on a scale of 1 I imagine 0 to 100. Well, unless I see half stars on Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay, then a half star. There you go.
Yeah.
As low as I possibly could give. The last half. Okay, she had one joke that I actually kind of chuckled at. Talking about again, there's such a huge section in the middle where she just talks about her vagina. She's the embodiment of the Cartman from South Park oversimplification of women comics. Talk about my vagina for like 30 minutes. Well, she does that for probably more than 30 minutes. But no, there's a bit in the middle where she was talking about like women after having birth, and like if a car insurance adjuster would come in and they'd say, no, it's totaled. The best we can do is a rental, a medium Japanese. And yeah, that got a kind of a chuckle out of me.
The joke in that bit that I liked was when she's talking about the baby saying, "Oh, I just lost my home." It's like, okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah, no, it was the talking about women should have like coverage on their vagina, like natural disasters, and it was the man who said, "Oh man, I lost my home." Yeah, that was decently funny.
It's but like, you still have to get past the fact that she thinks giving birth is like a disaster, which is like that's the feminism pushing its head into the comedy again.
Okay, I'm trying to look at other outside sources for reviews.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see, this is from Wherever I Look. So probably a maid blog about reviews and whatnot. But in Joke Show, Wolf reminds you, while Netflix may have canceled her show, it wasn't because she wasn't funny, but the format didn't work.
Mm.
It sounds like an excuse to me.
What format? What was the Netflix show about?
Her sitting behind a desk talking about, like it was
Current
a rip off
affairs
of the
sort of
Daily
thing?
Show.
It was a Daily Show. All right.
Yeah, it was a Daily Show clone. Like I can't believe Samantha Bee's still been on TBS this long.
Yeah, I
Talk
don't
about another-
understand the appeal of Samantha Bee at all.
Well, I think it's because her husband's on the other TBS show that's actually doing good. Or was, I guess it's been, they ended that series.
Like even when I sort of had sympathies towards, feminism and the left, and like before I sort of realized what nonsense it was, like my friend sent me a Samantha Bee clip. It's like, this isn't funny. Like even when I agreed with her, it wasn't funny. That's a pretty strong condemnation of Samantha Bee in my book.
Well, I think a lot of them, they kind of all spread out to different networks and stuff, and they tried doing that same thing. And there's just a glut of that kind of, show format, perspective. Eventually it's just gonna be very, very thin, if anything.
I think a lot of people were too disillusioned with what made the Daily Show funny back in the early 2000s. Yes, it was left leaning, but it was not necessarily that made it funny. It was the fact that all of the Daily Show correspondents, so like back when Stephen Colbert was a Daily Show correspondent, Samantha Bee, Steve Carell, all of them, when they would do any of the correspondent stuff, they were clowns. They were literally clowns. They were there to be pratfall, look at me, look at how dumb I am correspondents. That they were literal clowns.
Yeah.
And the way it was, the why it was funny is because they would interact with the straight man, Jon Stewart.
Yeah.
So you don't make a show just about the clown.
But you've got to realize these days having a straight anything is not a good idea.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I forgot. Which she does bring up in her special too. She talks about gay men being better than straight men and straight women. Yeah.
Let's see. This person says, had to turn it off halfway through. This and her previous special drive the men are horrendous, reprehensible creatures joke into the ground. We get it. It was funny in the first special. It was funny in the first special, but now it's more of the same and getting old.
No, it wasn't even funny in the first. I haven't seen her first special, but I will venture out a guess and say it is just as funny in the first special as it was in the second, which was.
You think that's you think that's some sort of masochistic like nostalgia glasses they got there?
Yeah, maybe. I will say this: the one thing that I thought was kind of funny in the abstract was when she started saying that men are dumb. This is the reason why you need to have like signs in a pool saying "Do not shit here." The very first thing, and I said it during the viewing, is this also the men also the reason why we have caution contents hot on coffee cups? Because that was a woman that did that.
Yeah.
Kind of makes the narrative fall apart, you fucking cunt.
Well, I just like the argument that 100% of space crime is committed by women.
Yeah.
There is a disparity.
This person gave him 4 stars. Said good stand-up comedy, better than her show comedy. Yeah, that was her show. The Break is where I think the one clip that went around that I saw was her doing the salute to abortion.
Yep,
with like
that's
the
what I
marching
know.
Band and everything.
Yep. That is the one thing I knew about Michelle Wolf before I watched this special was that sketch.
I think I might have seen that, but it's the sort of thing where I might have seen it and thought so little of it that it has gone down the memory hole.
It was basically the same points that she was making in the special about cheering on abortion, and it's no big deal unless you want it to be.
And I've said this before. I'm not one of these people that's hardline against abortion or any of that kind of stuff. But the people that sit there and say it's no big deal, or shout your abortion, be proud of it, they're psychopaths.
Absolutely. I'm of the mind that sometimes it's the least awful option available, and you have no choice. You have to do it. But you should take it seriously. You are terminating a life. There is no getting around that.
Sure.
Like you can't say her dirt's just a clump of cells. Well, so are you. What's your point? Is it okay to kill you? No. So I do think it's a decision you have to take seriously. Sometimes it's the least worst option that you have.
I can agree with that.
Yeah. Well, it's like Ranting Monkey says. He's like, if you need to do it, but just be honest in what you're doing.
Yeah. The people who deny that they're taking a life are the ones that really get to me. It's like, no, you acknowledge what you're doing and you live with the consequences of and feel the weight of the decision, because it is an important decision. It's not to be taken lightly.
I like how this person on Rotten Tomatoes asked the same question Quiz did earlier. It's like, can you give a 0? She isn't funny. They gave it a half star. They gave it a half a star.
Was the name of the reviewer Inquisitor 8.1?
Oh, I wouldn't want to dox him if it is, No, this
I think I do have a Rotten Tomatoes account. I'm just not sure if it's...
Have you been sleep reviewing again?
Oh, maybe.
No, this other person here, they gave him a half star. They said, try watching this with my daughter, who's a comedy fiend. We both stared at it confused. This isn't funny in any way. When Wolf is on a podcast, she's interesting, and I was looking forward to this. But it's brutal and unwatchable. I'm guessing this dude listens to Rogan, and he's got a daughter who like wants, is trying to be funny and whatnot. So they sit down and watch this, and they're just like, just kind of that shoulder shrug to each other.
Yeah.
Oh, here's somebody who's a 5 stars. Never heard of her until I saw her on Joe Rogan. She was great on there, and her new special is awesome. She crushed it. Oh, another one, 4 stars. Saw her on the Joe Rogan Experience podcast a few days before this popped up on Netflix. Yeah, because she was promoting it.
Yeah, it's not a coincidence.
Yeah, the timing is,
impeccable.
Although to give her a try, at least a fair shake. She's a bit shouty, which I can see some may find annoying right off the jump, and it takes a few jokes to find her rhythm. Though once she did, I found her very entertaining, chuckling to a beat all the way till the end. I seriously doubt that, Joe. Her "What if men had periods" bit was hilarious. No, I mean it was okay. It was
It was sort of the midsection where it was starting to go bad. Like it had its moments, but it wasn't like a highlight by any means.
It way overstayed its welcome.
Joe wraps
just
this up.
Pressing the joke, just kept pressing it until it just wasn't funny anymore.
Joe wraps this up. The final line, he says, "She's now my favorite female comedian." I could recommend better, Joe.
Yeah, there's way better women comedians than that.
Yeah, I think that might be true if he's only seen the one female comedian.
Yeah.
Like by default, it has to be Michelle Wolf.
I can think of several that come to mind that have never talked about their vagina.
This person here gave it 5 stars. Found the line and danced on it throughout. Cutting edge of comedy, telling as what we know. Choo choo!
Yeah.
Even that train can smell the bullshit.
Right?
Telling as what we know, but also need to hear. I'm assuming this person thinks that a butter knife is sharp if they thought this was cutting edge comedy.
But men can do it too.
Let's see. This person. 5 stars. The rest of you are so dumb. This was funny. Or so funny. Love Michelle Wolf. Wow, thanks. Gee.
Yeah. That's that gives such this review was helpful.
Indeed it was.
I think they should have like some sort of quality filter where you at least have to say why you liked it or didn't like it.
Thank you, Terry, because that brings me to my favorite of the reviews that I've read for this. And this one's a 1/2 star. Never having watched this comic before, we gave this a shot. We watched it in a group of about 6 friends, all wanting a good laugh. After about 20 minutes, we realized not one of us had laughed. ... Not even a little. In fact, we were almost in shock something this bad could make it on Netflix. My 5-year-old niece is 10 times more entertaining. If you have a choice between getting a root canal or watching this, get the root canal. All right. The root canal bit's a little old hat for a review, but I mean, aside from that, they painted a nice picture of just 6 people in a room just looking at each other befuddled.
But if he was shocked that something this bad made it onto Netflix, he's still a newbie. He hasn't watched many of the Netflix specials.
Like Terry's just like, first time, huh?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if you end up having to watch Netflix comedy specials, make sure that you have the remote and you pick something other than this. That being said, if someone makes you sit down and watch this in return for monetary gain, you might have to think about how much of a whore you're willing to be.
You guys owe me some money.
we never
right there.
Never
that was
more
hands. Of a laugh. That was more of a laugh from this panel than all 4 of us laughed at this special.
And to keep in mind, your Streamlabs is in the description.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys have chuckled along to any of these reviews we've been reading, or laughed at anything we've had to say about this, throw Quiz some money. We made him we made him earn it by making him watch this. But yeah, if I had to rank this on this is number 17. How many of these we've done now, Johnny?
I did count and I lost count, so I think it's probably 15 or 16.
Yeah, so we're getting up there. I would put this in the top third of the ones we've watched, just because a lot of the other ones are completely forgettable after viewing them once or twice.
Yeah.
I'd probably say this is number 5 or 6 of like probably Tig Notaro being at the top, being the funniest we've watched.
I think that's probably fair. I mean,
who?
Like you say, some of the others just had no jokes at all. Like, not even recognizable as attempts at jokes. It was just this woman came out and started telling boring stories.
At least with this special, there would be individual bits that I would be able to recall and recount for somebody.
Yeah. As opposed to Anne Edmonds, who we watched last time, where I've already forgotten everything she talked about because it was that boring.
I thought it was because the freeway was making you sick.
that now that you've said it, it's like, oh yeah, that was a stupid joke.
Yeah, the only reason why I remember that is because that literally happened within this calendar week.
See, I'd already forgotten about it because I cared that little about Anne Edmonds.
If we had waited another 2 days to do this viewing with Quiz, I would have already forgotten that callback.
Yeah.
Now, have you not heard of Tig Notaro, Quiz?
No.
She was is. She's not dead yet. I guess.
Yeah.
She's still very much
Death
alive.
and taxes, Johnny.
She actually got her. Well, she got her start. She did like Conan a bit ago,
The
She used to open
Barbarian?
for Louis C.K.
She has a Louis C.K. brought her in, and she then she got the breast cancer and had to have both breasts removed. And then instead, like she's like, I gotta get out there. And so she went out there and did a whole routine based on her diagnosis and the mastectomy.
Okay.
And just nailed it out of the park.
Except for the bit at the end where she keeps pretending that she's got the Indigo Girls, and then
Oh,
pretending she does.
That's not the stand.
Yeah, this was a different hour she did. It was like right after her.
This was way back when.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's one of the things that kind of put her on the map, wasn't it, Johnny?
Mm-hmm.
Like after doing being on the late night shows and opening for Louis, that was one of her big moments.
Yeah, it was mostly. It was funny on Conan. She mentioned, and I just vaguely remember it. And she mentioned, she's like, yeah, I would have done something like that, but and then she points at where her boobs would have been.
Mm-hmm. It is kind of sad that the only thing I remember about her is the bit at the end that annoyed me. Like, I remember liking the special, but I don't remember any jokes from it. The only thing I remember is getting pissed off. Is like, shut up, we get it. You dragged the joke out way too long.
Well, I mean, that was a couple of years ago now at this point, Terry.
Yeah.
We've been kind of slacking it with the viewings.
No, but I still remember that bit at the end because it left an imprint. I don't remember any of her actual jokes.
So we talked about Johnny, Tignataro, one we've watched before. We talked about this pretty well to death. Quiz: are there any of your favorite stand-ups that you want to talk about, or maybe somebody that you like that you think maybe we hadn't heard of yet? Aside from Yeah. I mean, or maybe somebody that because I'm not sitting here watching Netflix stand-up specials all day. I'm not watching stand-up all the time. There are routines and stuff from different comedians I like that I can point to, like, oh, I like this guy, I like that girl, whoever. But I mean,
one of my favorites. I actually went and saw her up in Milwaukee once. I went out of my way, drove 2 hours up to Milwaukee to see her. Maria Bamford.
Oh yeah, I love Maria Bamford. That's one of the ones I always point at to when we do these. Is like, I know there are funny female comedians. I point to Maria.
Oh yeah, she's great. She her whole shtick, at least back in the day, was the fact that she has this like squirrely little mousy voice, but she can project her voice into all these different sorts of characters that she does. And she actually has a show on Netflix called Miss Dynamite, which is actually pretty good.
I hadn't heard of that one.
Check that out. It's actually pretty good. The only real problem I have with Maria Bamford is that she was part of like this cadre of comedians that kind of went around and supported each other. One of which is
wasn't she part of the Upright Citizens Brigade?
No, Maria Bamford wasn't in that. But no, the one that really annoys me in the group of comedians that she's kind of a part of is Sarah Silverman. I find Sarah Silverman insufferable. I've never found her funny. But another really good comedian, one that I really did like for the longest time. Definitely go back and check out his older stuff because his newer stuff is not so good. Patton Oswalt. I actually really do like Patton Oswalt's old stuff. He was really funny back in the day. He's not so funny anymore.
No, he's not.
I make it a thing to try and avoid like comedians or other entertainers like social media and stuff. Yeah. So I've heard that Patton Oswalt is out there as a lefty. I try not to associate that, but I haven't seen any of his newer material either. How much of it he's incorporated into it?
Well,
I do enjoy him as an actor. Like I remember him on like Justified or doing voice work. Like Happy. Happy seasons was funny. It was hilarious.
Yeah, Happy's great. I'm just now watching Happy. I didn't even know it was a thing until I saw it on Netflix and then decided to give it a try. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I thought it was hilarious was like the first season they were airing it on Sci-Fi.
Yeah, well, there's the big sci-fi bumper at the front of it on Netflix,
Yeah,
and I'm like,
yeah.
how is this on sci-fi? There's like, there's nudity. They say fuck constantly. There's like amazing gore effects.
Yeah, I was like, wait a second, like because I hadn't watched Sci-Fi in forever. I was like, wait a second, they wouldn't give Stargate another season, but they went ahead and like years later went ahead and did this.
Yeah,
like
I say I'm the kind of guy that likes extremely dark, extremely frantic, violent comedy. That's why I love the movie Smokin' Aces and Gross Point Blank so much, because there is definitely a lot of that in those movies.
Wait, Smokin' Aces, the Ryan Reynolds, Jeremy Piven movie?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I say I love that movie. I think it's an underrated classic movie.
I did enjoy Point Blank. I did enjoy that movie.
Yeah,
it's
I
not
like
as
that one.
smart. It's not as smart as
lot.
Gross Point Blank, but yeah, I put it in the same sort of caliber as Gross Point Blank.
Did you ever see the unofficial sequel to Gross Point Blank?
No, I did not.
John Cusack did a movie called War Inc.
Mm.
And they tried to make that like a bill that as I've seen people call it like a unofficial sequel to Gross Point Blank.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
yeah, I've heard that too.
No, that movie sucked. And it wasn't funny. It wasn't smart.
Well, a lot of the comedy from Gross Point Blank definitely comes from the play off of John Cusack and Minnie Driver, and War Inc. didn't have Minnie Driver. So.
No, it did have Hilary Duff though.
I do like John Cusack just generally. Like he's usually in the things I've seen him in.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, I like the guy. He was in a movie called like 1408 or something like that.
Yeah, it was 1408.
Yeah. With Samuel L. Jackson. That's a Stephen King story, isn't it?
Yeah. I think so. Yeah, it's all about a haunted hotel room. Yeah, it's a great movie. I have
actually, I have to correct you. They make it very clear the room isn't haunted. The room itself is evil. Haunted would suggest that there's something evil in the room. The room itself is evil.
Okay.
And they're very clear about that distinction.
No, like I mean, I like Gross Point Blank growing up. A bunch of different John Cusack movies I can remember liking. One in particular that you wouldn't necessarily think of John Cusack was the Jack Bull.
Okay.
It's a Western. So I like to recommend that to people if they haven't seen it before.
I'd say one that I know a lot of people really love with John Cusack, especially from my generation, is High Fidelity.
I mean, I preferred Con Air myself.
It was all right, and the remake was gross. It was remade for Hulu.
What, High Fidelity?
Yeah.
Are we already getting to that point where they're remaking all the 90s stuff?
Remade, regendered, and remade.
Oh my god! All right, no, that doesn't even make any sense to me. But
they made John Cusack a black woman.
Nice.
But did they keep the vinyl?
All along. I think his parents did him a disservice by not making him a black lady.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Well,
so yeah, this special also brings that up too. You know, talking about the oppression stack. It's this another sort of joke that I'm sitting there going like, you're so close to self-awareness, but you're just not quite there.
Well, no, I think she did actually make kind of an observation about like playing victim. You know, just going through. You know, like, and we're above this, we're below that. You know, it's like just seeing the math work out, and it's like, it's not funny, but I mean, there was a point to it. She was kind of jabbing at it.
Yeah, and I say, like I said, it's you're so close to self-awareness, but you're just not quite there.
I think she's probably close, but it's the thing of like she made she made the leap. She just hasn't found a way to make it funny. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, like when you're recording the hour, this is not the time to be still trying to figure that out.
Yeah. Yeah, I compare that to like that sort of those bits in this special. I compare that to the COVID show that Dave Chappelle did. Dave Chappelle made it funny.
Mm-hmm.
Is it just the fact that he's older?
I think he's Dave Chappelle is so funny because he's been doing it for so long. Like, he was doing it as a teenager.
True.
You know, he'll do impromptu shows. You know, just or at least like when he was a younger comedian, he would just be like out on in a park with another comedian, just pop up comedy.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's been doing it for so long. He's got that economy of words, or he can where he can tell a tight joke with a set of punchline, or he can weave a story. Like that's another comedian that I like that's like can just paint you those pictures with words is Tom Segura.
Mm.
He's got a few Netflix specials,
yeah,
and one of them is like mostly stories. I think he's talking about like meeting Mike Tyson on an airplane.
Okay.
And, yeah, or he had one bit that he did for a Ari Shaffir show. This is not happening. Talking about meeting another comedian named Bruce.
Okay.
I don't know if you're familiar with Bruce, but he's a like big, like 400-pound black dude.
Okay.
Did a lot of like BET, like Comic View and stuff.
I was gonna say he sounds familiar. I think I think I might have seen his Comedy Central special. I think he's the guy that said that black folks don't call it diabetes; they call it the sugar. I think that's him. I thought he was hilarious.
That sounds familiar.
But yeah, I mean, like you got or like Bert Kreischer. He's got one bit that's so hilarious. The Machine.
Oh yeah.
He made that.
I had no idea
special.
he had a show on Travel Channel. I didn't even know that.
Multiple shows. Yeah. He's had multiple shows. Yeah.
Bert the Conqueror and there was
Hurt Bert.
Yeah. I was say there's like people probably won't know him by name, but you mentioned the Machine and they're gonna know that bit. That went viral as fuck everywhere, man. You can find it on YouTube. You can find it on the specials on Netflix. I sat there with my roommate and we watched that whole special.
Well, I mean the first I heard about it was they were getting ready to promote the special, and he was on Rogan because him and Rogan are buddies, and they were talking about that bit because he apparently had told it on a previous Rogan special before I'd ever started listening. Somebody had gone through and animated it for him like nice. South Park style. Yeah. And so like
fuck that bitch. This is Russia.
Yeah, I even knew the bit. I'd seen it animated and I was like, oh, I still gotta catch this special.
Oh yeah, I watch it every time. Like every time I see it, if someone links it or it pops up from something else I'm watching, I'll sit there and watch it. I don't care how many times I've seen it. It's always funny.
It's a hilarious 15 minutes.
I do have to confess, it's the one I haven't seen yet.
Really, you've not seen The Machine? Oh man, you gotta see it.
I've seen the. I've heard the story. But as far as the stand-up goes, that's the only one of his I haven't seen yet. Okay,
yeah, you got to see that one, man. It's so good.
Well, like the next one he did, what was it? The next one that got released on Netflix was Hey Big Boy.
Hey Big Boy, yeah.
Yeah.
Like he's got a killer closer for that one too. Like I mean, just but again, different. I guess different strokes for different folks. If you don't like Bert Kreischer, if you don't like Tom Segura, if you don't like any of these other ones we've listed, maybe Michelle Wolf is for you. Who knows?
So you know what? One thing I think is definitely a genre of stand-up comedy that I don't think a lot of people pursue because it takes a lot of effort to make it good and funny, and some comedians just aren't up for it, or they just lack the talent for it. Your Bo Burnhams, your Stephen Lynch's, musical comedians.
Musical comedians. It is such.
Matter of fact, those are the only two I can think of off the top of my head.
Zach Galifianakis started that way.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. He would play piano. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot about that. I forgot about him doing stand-up.
Nick Thune.
To be honest with you.
It's like Zach Galifianakis was pretty good as stand-up comedian.
He was.
Nick Thune.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I remember watching like a special. He had like the Mountain Man beard. I can't remember how long ago that was though.
He always has that thing.
And say I got into it because I shared a Bo Burnham song with a buddy of mine, Zelthor, and I came up with this, like, as good as Bo Burnham is, and as much as I do like him, I think Stephen Lynch is probably a little bit better. And then I shared him the Little Tiny Mustache song.
Oh, from the Craig Machine.
Yeah. Talk about songs that can't be made nowadays.
Oh, did you hear his album Three Balloons?
Yes, I have both Craig Machine and three little balloons. Yeah.
The one about waiting for his HIV test.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't listened to Stephen Lynch in forever, man. Used to listen to that all the time in high school. He had like 2 or 3 albums come out when I was in high school.
I have
he used to come.
I have Superhero on my flash drive in my car.
Yeah, nice.
I have to skip. I have to skip it when the kids are in there.
So he used to come to Chicago quite often. He'd play a lot of the casino boats.
Yeah, he's a Broadway actor now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he did The Wedding Singer. They did The Wedding Singer on Broadway, and I think he got nominated for a Tony or something like that.
Nice, good for him. I still find his joke songs hilarious. He's one of my favorite.
He apparently has new
musical comedians.
Really? Oh, really?
Yes.
Breaking news, folks. When did this come out?
That is a good question.
Maybe with quarantine and everything, it's like, you know what? Fuck it. Where's my guitar?
Yeah, right. It's called My Old Heart.
New album. Doesn't say.
Doesn't say.
Didn't say on the thing, at least. As far as a date.
Fair. Let's see here. Do I have the ability to post links in your chat?
Should be able to.
There's the SoundCloud to the entire album.
Yep, there it is.
I mean, I can probably see why he was playing a bunch of casino boats in Illinois quiz. He's a Michigan boy.
2019.
Oh, so it's not a new album. It's new-ish at this point.
It's a couple years old. A year and some.
Well, hey, I mean, something to check out. I haven't listened to Stephen Lynch in a while, and yeah, I have to give that a listen later. But we've been going for almost an hour. We've talked, I think, all we want to about Michelle Wolf.
I find it funny that we're sitting here having more to say about comedians we actually like.
Well, no, that's how that's kind of the format we've found that works. Is we talk about this for probably a half an hour tops.
Mm-hmm.
Going back to the first one we did with Nanette, we probably talked about Nanette for all of 30 minutes, and then we spent another like 2.5, 3 hours just bullshitting. But no, we figured we'd talk about the show for about 30 minutes or so, read some reviews, make some jokes about that, and then talk about other comedian stuff that we actually do like. See what our guest likes. Kind of their style, flavor of comedy.
See if there's anything new out there that perhaps no one else has heard of.
Or that at the very least we haven't heard of. I mean, shit. I'm getting old. I don't keep up with the kids these days.
Yeah.
I just see shit that comes across. I'm like, what was it? Was it Stan or Kyle in that one episode? It was like everything starts sounding like shit.
Stan.
Yeah.
So, but apparently Monkey and Johnny found something, or Monkey and Jack found Johnny something for us to look at later on. So we've got stuff in the can. It's just getting around to it.
Yeah, that's gonna be. Yeah, his response to my response was nice. He's like,
but
don't invite me. That's us.
And well, I mean, we have a couple of different folks that are like, I'll come back, but I want to be forewarned so I can get boozed up first.
That's not a bad idea. I'm sure this special would have seemed a lot funnier if I had like 4 or 5 beers in me.
I will stand by this. Is I'm just glad that Eve got the one that she got, and not the one that Pat and Tally got. Because I think honestly, Eve would have stopped talking to me altogether.
I stand by making Polly watch Sarah Cooper.
Oh no, on principle alone. Yeah, no, that was his gig.
And I think if we get Jack back for one more, that'd be like his. I think this would be his 5th time around. So like he wins a free toaster bath. I'm pretty sure. But I don't think we can go on much longer with this. I don't know if I really want to.
Yeah, I got some stuff I gotta get going to do anyway.
So everyone, it's been fun. If you get a chance between watching what we just watched, which is Michelle Wolf's joke show, or anything else, choose the latter. Otherwise, we just wasted our time trying to warn you. Don't let this go in vain. Anybody want to say goodbye before
you could do worse? You could do worse, but you could do way better.
Well, I guess all in all, what would you rate this as on any kind of scale?
Don't waste your time.
I mean, scale of using the Rotten Tomatoes scale, I would give it a 2, which is still not worth your time. Anything less than a 3 is not worth your time.
Yeah.
And even then, like a 3, that could be subjective.
Don't waste your time out of 5.
So the Caesar's thumb down. Got it.
Yes.
Yeah. That's why YouTube had to go to the thumbs up, thumbs down, because it's like Roman times now.
How about you, Terry?
I would give it 1 star, and the only reason it's not half a star is because the first half was actually funny in places.
Okay, you, Camel?
2 stars. I would say the first half had enough bits that were funny enough for 2, but again, same with quiz. Don't waste your time. Find something better.
Okay. I will give this 1 Planned Parenthood protest out of 5. And yeah.
Donate to Quiz. He needs the money. We made him watch this.
Yeah. I'm waiting for your PayPals. All 3 of you.
All right. Yeah. Well, we will. Thanks for joining us.
The check is
Quiz.
totally in the mail, Quiz. The check is totally
the check is in the mail.
I believe you already have my tab up.
Yeah.
And yeah, thanks for joining us, and we will see you guys in the next one.
Yeah, anytime.
Bye, everyone.
Later, everybody.